Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, Aisha's English Oasis. It's time for What's in Your Teaching Toolbox. The topic for today is pronunciation and how I use the phonemic chart, the International Phonetic Alphabet or IPA, to draw awareness to pronunciation. The IPA is used to teach teenagers and adults. I usually use Jolly Phonics to teach my young learners, although I do use some things from it to teach everybody. I'll talk a bit about that later. Okay, so let me start by saying that I don't have specific pronunciation classes. Instead, I create activities or use other people's activities based on the phonemic chart. These are then used as warmers, coolers, fillers, and brain breaks. So an activity can take 5 minutes or 15 minutes and can be interspersed throughout a lesson. That way, students are constantly being exposed to the phonemic chart in bite-sized, enjoyable chunks. Today, I'll be sharing two things with you. One, a Google Doc of my favorite websites and other digital resources. I'll leave a link to this document in the description box, so don't worry about missing something on it. You'll be able to peruse it at your leisure. And number two, I'll be sharing my pronunciation files or folders that I usually keep in my classroom, close at hand. Okay, so my Google Doc contains links to interactive and non-interactive phonemic charts, digital downloadable flashcards, links to recommended books about pronunciation and how to teach it, IPA phonetic transcription, pronunciation apps, and word and vocab games. In other words, I've compiled a list of resources that has served me well over the years. Okay, so let's get into it. Here's my Google Doc. Okay, so let me go down the document. As you can see, I've created a table of useful websites and other links. Okay, so what's first on the table? Let's have a look. The British Council. So the British Council's phonemic chart. Unfortunately, this phonemic chart is non-interactive. It used to be interactive, but I think it used Flash Player in the past, and you can no longer use that. So you can actually download this particular phonemic chart. Unfortunately, it's just an image, so you can't actually click on the phonemes to hear a sound. It's still really nice. You can still, make photocopies of this and share them with your students. So you can still, make copies and put them up around your classroom as well. So it's worth getting this. It's worth visiting the website. By the way, these are all links. So if you were to click on this, you would see the link. Okay, this will take you directly to the website. So this particular column is a column full of links that you can simply click on and go and visit the website. Now, the cool thing about this particular website is that you can also download flashcards. And as you can see, you've got the phonemes at the top, and at the bottom, you've got example words. You can use these in a variety of ways. I'll be talking a bit more about how you can use these example words, but it's worth downloading these as well. They are a great resource. I've also used them as they are, but I've also used them, I've used the top part and the bottom part as well. So I literally cut the sheet in two so that I can separate the phoneme from the example words. Okay, let's go down the table. Okay, right. Okay, so I mentioned Jolly Phonics before, And as I said, I normally do Jollyphonics with my young learners. If you're not familiar with Jollyphonics, please visit their website. You click on this and you can see the website here. Okay, so again, it's well worth visiting, especially if you need to familiarize yourself with, the Jollyphonics way of teaching phonetics. Now, I've added it to this list simply because Jollyphonics has a great way of teaching sounds, of teaching phonemes. It basically uses actions to teach the different phonemes. And I really do believe that, adults and teenagers also enjoy doing the actions, especially if you want a kinesthetic activity. If you want to get your students up and moving in class, then use the Jollyphonics actions, man. They are great. I've had adults and teens doing the sound, the E sound, the sound and things like that. So yeah, it's worth doing all of that, okay? Right, so the sounds and actions, you can watch videos on the Jollyphonics website, so you can see how that's done. But you can also watch videos on YouTube as well. So here, there's a channel called Little Learners, and the woman who runs that channel does a very good video on the phonetic sounds and actions using Jollyphonics. So again, if you click on this link, this will take you directly to her YouTube channel. Now, she kind of sits and does the action. So, it's not as dynamic as I would like. So instead, if you want to see how you can get students up and moving, then this channel might be the one for you. Okay, so this channel is Mr. Bates Creates, and he's kind of standing up and he's doing the actions with the Jollyphonics sound, music, with the Jollyphonics songs and music. Okay, so you can see how you can use these actions in a more dynamic way to get students up and moving. You can do things like sound charades, and things like that, so it's a fun way of teaching phonics. Yeah. Okay, let's move down the table. Okay, so this website, phonemic.chart.com. I love the name, very, very simple, right? Okay, so this website obviously has the phonemic chart, but it also has the keyboard as well. So you can actually, type in the different phonemes. You can copy and paste them into your own document. But most importantly, it also has a transcription program, I guess. So you can basically put in your own words and get them transcribed into, the phonetic alphabet. So that's always very useful. Now, on this website, you've got flashcards that you can also download, so yay. They're digital flashcards, but you can, photocopy them as well. So a great resource. And also, if you're thinking of, just learning more about pronunciation and how to teach pronunciation, you've got some recommended books here too. Okay, so they're books by Mark Hancock, Anne Baker, and Adrian Underhill, very, very famous writers, especially when it comes to phonetics. Okay, so all of that is under their recommended resources section. So please check out this website. Let's go back to the address. Phonemic.chart.com. Okay, so just as I said, click on this and this will take you directly to the website. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Here we go. Right, now Mark Hancock, he's like the godfather of pronunciation or something. His books are seminal texts. You have to get a Mark Hancock book. He has done a number of books about pronunciation, how to teach it, etc. Okay. This latest series I absolutely love. I've got 3 out of 6 of these books. I've got the Prawn Pack 1. So yeah, I've got Prawn Pack 1, Prawn Pack 2, Prawn Pack 3. Okay, but he has done Prawn Packs 4, 5, and 6. Right. So Prawn Pack 1, that's called Pronunciation Workouts. Prawn Pack 2, Pronunciation Puzzles. Prawn Pack 3, Pronunciation Pair Works. I'm thinking of getting number 4, which is Pronunciation Poems, because, you know, I love poems, so why not use them in my teaching? Now, the great thing about Mark Hancock is that he uses a lot of games, you know. So as I said, if you want to use pronunciation in your warmers and coolers and brain breaks, then yeah, Mark Hancock is your guy. He's definitely the one to read. He's definitely the one to find these resources from. Okay. Right. So anyway, this is the series of books. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. This is the picture that was taken from the website. All you have to do is click on the link, and this will take you directly to Mark Hancock's Prawn Pack website. Okay. You've got free downloadable resources for each book on this website, which is really, really useful. Student worksheet resources, activity presentation slides, and so on and so forth. Okay, he also has a YouTube channel, so check out his YouTube channel. You know, it's all worth looking into. It's all worth looking at, right? Okay, so that's Hancock. Right. Robin Walker is also a well-known pronunciation guy. I've been to a few of his talks as well. Okay, he has a lovely book. It's called Teaching the Pronunciation of English as a Lingua Franca. This is the book. It's available on Amazon. So again, please click on this link and it will take you to his Amazon page. Okay. Adrian Underhill, I mentioned him before, can also be found on YouTube. And it's really worth checking out his pronunciation skills with Adrian Underhill. And he did this with Macmillan Education ELT, the publishers. He has also done a series of videos called Introduction to Teaching Pronunciation. Oh, no, that's not a series of videos. I think the pronunciation skills one, that's a series, but there's just one video on Introduction to Teaching Pronunciation. It's a workshop. So he did this a few years ago, and I think they just taped it. Yeah, they just recorded it. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is called tophonetics.com. Right, so this one, I like it because, again, you can transcribe stuff on this one. So this is a quote that was taken directly from the website. It says, "Got an English text and want to see how to pronounce it? This online converter of English text to IP phonetic transcription will translate your English text into its phonetic transcription using the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is IPA." Okay, so this is great, especially if you're using like your word list, your class word list or vocab list or whatever it is, and it doesn't come with the phonetic alphabet. You can just copy and paste those words right into this, okay? And it'll do all the hard work for you if you're not confident enough to kind of do it yourself. And just remember, you can kind of do the same thing here at phonemicchart.com as well. So you have 2 digital tools that you can use to transcribe your words or sentences, in fact. Okay, so think of all the games you can, come up with and play with your students based on these transcriptions. Okay, let's move on to other resources. Okay, this one used to be great, not so much anymore, but it's still very useful. It's Cambridge English's Phonetics Focus. So this chart is still interactive, thank God. I'm saying all of that because in the past, they had really good resources on this website, but a lot of them used Flash Player. So, that's obsolete now, I guess. And so a lot of those resources are now lost to us, but you can still, I think, download this onto your mobile devices and obviously have it on your PC. So when you click on the phonemes, you actually hear the sound and you get an example word as well. So, it's still worth checking out. The apps are still working as well. So here you've got apps that you can actually download onto your iPhone as well as your iPad. Okay. The apps that you can use that are connected to Phonetics Focus are English Sounds, Pronunciation and Phonetics Lite. That's the free app. You do have a full version, but the free app is quite good as well. And 4 out of the 10 exercises are free on this app, and they are Sound and Symbol Maze, Real and Phonetic Match, Phonetic Reading Quiz, and obviously the phonemic chart. Phonetics Focus HD Lite is also very, very good. And that one, 6 out of 20 of the activities or exercises are free. And those free activities are actually starred. So when you see the star on an activity, that means you can actually use it for free. Okay. So the activities are phonemic chart, the phonemic chart, missing phonemes quiz, which phoneme quiz, and flashcards. Okay, so you can actually go through flashcards. So you've got the complete flashcards that you can actually download, I think. Flashcards for minimal pairs, and then you have extra information about Phonetics Focus in general. Okay, I used to do a lot of the activities from this website, so it's a shame that we can no longer use a lot of the fantastic resources, but maybe one day they'll update it. We'll see. Okay, so here's another Cambridge resource that you can use. The Cambridge Dictionary, the online dictionary, English pronunciation, right? So once again, click on this link and it'll take you right there. Right, now the great thing about this particular website or this particular section of the website is that it also has YouTube videos, basically, giving you the pronunciation of words. And it gives you more information about the words. So you can, increase your vocab and things like that just by clicking on this. So for example, you've got the word fasten here. You'll be able to listen to the YouTube video. You've got the UK version of saying it. You've got the US version of saying it. But then if you were to click on about this, that'll take you to another tab and or just another section of the website, basically. And you'll see, phrasal verbs using the word. You'll see examples of how to use the word in sentences. And you'll even see, I think, translations of the words as well. So that's just a whole world of things that you can do. But yeah, check out the Cambridge Dictionary English pronunciation part. Okay, so that's really, really good. Right, so the next one, English file. Oh, I love this phonemic chart, or as they say in, the world of English file, English sounds pronunciation chart. It's interactive and it's beautifully illustrated. I also have the massive poster that comes with this as well. So In the past, if you had like the series of books, I think each book would come with the massive, sounds pronunciation chart poster, and it's really worth having that. Later, I'll show you that poster because, you've got these lovely illustrations here, both the vowels and the consonants, but you also have like additional games and things at the back of the poster that you can actually play with your students of all ages, basically. So I've used them with my, my little ones, I've used them with my older students, etc. But, more so with my older students, because as I said, I tend to do Jolly Phonics with my young learners. Okay, anyway, so go to the English File website, and you'll see something that looks like this. It basically shows you all the levels of books that they've got. And here is the link. So you just click on that link and it'll take you to the website. Now you can click on any level and, you'll be able to see the phonemic chart or the pronunciation chart. So each level actually has a pronunciation section. So all you need to do is click on that level, click on pronunciation. I've got a little thumbnail here, a little image here. So yeah, so just click on the pronunciation section. And when you click on that, you'll see this. As I said, it's interactive. So when you click on each phoneme, you'll be able to hear the sound. Okay, so I love that. Definitely get that. So here you've got the consonants as well. Okay, so let me remind you that I normally use the phonemic chart to play pronunciation games. Okay, so to help you with this, you probably need to revise your word games, your vocab games, and so on, and just kind of change them or modify them so that you can use the phonemic alphabet. Okay, so I think I mentioned previously that, a good way to basically practice your vocab as well as your pronunciation is to use your class list or vocab list. So here, here's a little example. Okay, so this particular vocab list was taken from Citizen Z B2 Unit 6. And a part of it is about falling in love, being in love. So we've got these lovely expressions here, okay? Now you can basically, well, here, thank God, these were already transcribed for us. But if you don't have this, remember you can go back to the websites I talked about earlier, and you can actually copy and paste the words and expressions into the converter to transcribe them. Anywho, I use these words and expressions in Flippity. Flippity.net is a website that has lots of online games. It basically helps you to create your own online games. So here we've got some flashcards. So I created these digital flashcards using my Unit 6 words. So this was a great way to not only revise this vocab, but a great way to teach pronunciation and the phonemic chart as well. Okay, so just a quick way of using your word list. And obviously you can create like real, physical cards that you can use in your face-to-face classes as well. So this doesn't have to be a digital activity. This is something, or you can get your students to create these word cards or flashcards as well. That's a great way of getting them to revise, right? And getting involved in their own learning. Okay. Okay, so here's a teaching tip. Please remember that when using real flashcards in class, please remember to laminate them because students are going to be using these flashcards again and again, hopefully, and you want them to last. okay? You know, students have a tendency to, you know, bend them or fold them or just do weird things with them. So make sure that you laminate your cards if you want them to last a long time. Okay, so that's just a reminder. You probably already know this, and I'm sure you've done it as well, you know, but just in case, let me remind you, laminate your cards. It's worth taking the time out to do that. Okay, so here's another great website, ESL Kids Stuff. This website is great for, you know, just kind of giving you ideas for games, especially, you know, flashcard games, vocab games. It was originally created for young learners, but as I said, you know, people like playing, especially when they're learning something new or they're just learning in general. So it doesn't matter if you're 40 years old or 14, you know, you tend to remember the things you're having fun doing, right? The great thing about ESL Kids is that their games are in alphabetical order. So you can just kind of go down the list or just have a look, you know, it might just remind you of games that you can actually play in the classroom. So yeah, check them out. Okay, let's go down. Right, this is another website for games. It's called teachthis.com. So once again, you know, please play as much as you can, have fun, you know. As I said, these are ideas for warmers, these are ideas for coolers, these are ideas for brain breaks. So you want to kind of get your kids up and moving, you want to get your students up and moving, or just if they're kind of seated online, it doesn't really matter. You can get them to stand up and do things as well. If you're in a face-to-face class, it's great to have them running about and, you know, having fun with pronunciation. Okay, so I had mentioned Flippity earlier. So finally, here is the website, the link to the website. As you can see, you've got a great number of games that you can create and play with your students. So the flashcards section is actually here. Here are the instructions about how to create your own flashcards. So visit Flippity. And that's it for my document. There you have it. Okay, so now I'll be showing you my actual files, my actual folders. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, everyone, I've opened my my folders, my pronunciation folders for you. So here I've got the phonemic chart from the British Council. So as you can see, I've actually printed it off in color. So this one I usually keep in my classroom. I usually put it up, usually next to the board so everyone can see it. And then I also printed off these ones. And these ones are generally for my students to use in class, so they can use it as a reference point. I usually have some around the classroom as well. They can play games on this, like a kind of board game, things like that. So it's worth basically printing off these phonemic charts. Okay, so as I said, I've got the Adrian Underhill one as well. Yeah, so beautiful. Okay, so let me turn the next page. Yeah, Adrian Underhill still. Okay, so now I've got the English file phonemic charts. Okay, and this one, once again, you can use as a kind of board game. You know, you can, they've got numbers on them, so you can say start at 1, roll a die or dice, move your counters along, you know, say the sound of the phoneme you encounter and things like that. So again, you can use this as a kind of poster to put up in class. You can use them to play different games. You can use them in any way you see fit, really. Right, and this is the fantastic English file poster I was telling you guys about. It's huge, it's massive, but most importantly, it has really cool information about how to use the poster and, you know, how to play certain games and things like that. So it's worth getting. If you have it, great. Yeah, so you open it up. Oh, by the way, I love this. You've got bingo cards as well. So you can photocopy this and laminate them and play bingo. I've actually photocopied this, so yeah, you can use that as well. And here you've got some games you can play, some suggestions and things like that as well. So it's lovely to have this. As I said, it is massive. It opens up into this beautiful, beautiful poster that you can have in your classroom. I don't have the space where I'm currently recording, so bear with me. One moment, please. Yeah, so you can't actually see the full majesty of it, but you can see how beautiful the illustrations are. Okay, so that's that. Right, let me put that to the side. Okay, so here you can see my laminated bingo cards. Right, yay, beautiful. My students absolutely love using those. Okay, right. And I've also photocopied some of the games from the poster as well. Okay, this is just another bingo game that you can play with students. And then I've got, this is no longer available. So the Phonetics Focus downloadable phonetics chart. Yeah, I got this in the past and laminated it. So again, another visual that you can use in class. Right. Now, these were some word cards taken from Phonetics Focus. And again, these are no longer available. Yeah. So again, you can get your students to play some games, write these words using the phonetic alphabet and things like that, you know. So yeah, write hand phonetically, write rain phonetically, you know. You can use them in conjunction with the phonemic chart to play a board game. So you can have these as, you know, cards you've got to kind of choose after you reach a certain number and stuff like that. You can use them to do like pair spelling bees and things like that as well. Okay, so more of the same cards. Right. Do you remember these? These were from the British Council flashcards. Okay, so again, you've got these lovely word cards and they're great for dictation exercises. They can be teacher-led dictation exercises, or, you know, students can work in small groups to basically dictate the words. And, you know, so one student can, you know, dictate the word and the other student has to write the word phonetically and things like that. So you can use them in a variety of ways. Or for example, have them like this. So in the lineups, as students are coming into your class, you can basically say, what's that word? You know, what's that word? What's that word? So they'll have to say the word to get into class. Or you can use them, you know, to get out of class as well. So a password to leave the class. So you'll have to say what the word is. Okay. More word cards. So these were from English File. So again, you know, I'm sure you can think of 101 ways of using these. Okay, so it's just good to have them. So when you think of a game, you know, you can have like group dictation challenges and things like that. Okay, so this is a board game. I had this like board game template, so it was basically blank, and so I, put phonetic words, transcribed words on this blank board game to create my own board game. So that's one way of doing it as well. Why not? In fact, what you can do too is you can maybe write, so maybe here a student has to say the word and they'll get a point for saying the word. But if they go to a blank space, the other student has to tell them a word, sorry, and they'll have to write that word. Okay, so let me repeat that in a more comprehensible way. So for example, if a student lands here, they would have to say the word to get a point. But if the student lands here, maybe they'll have to get a word card. Let's go back to, they can get a word card like this, something like this, and they'll have to write that word phonetically, so you can have a pile of these cards, somewhere in the center or off to the side or something like that. I'm sure you can think of 101 ways of using, that particular board game. So this, I had written the days, the months, the ordinal numbers phonetically, and basically students had to decipher the words. Let's see what's in this one. I keep little pieces in envelopes, it's just easier, so as not to lose them. Okay, so here, for example, you've got the months of the year. Okay. Oh, I've magnetized them as well. So look at the back, I've got little magnetic strips, so you can put them on a whiteboard or something like that, or it can be a mini whiteboard as well. Students can maybe play noughts and crosses with them or something like that. So some are magnetized, some aren't, but yeah, so you can, play little games with them as well. So all of these are basically transcribed into the phonetic alphabet, and you can use them in different ways, I'm sure. Let me put that back. Days of the week as well. So again, a quick lineup activity or a quick exit the class activity or something like that. Or you can actually, put these up on the board as well and have a little board race or something. I don't know. Right. Okay. So again, so here we've got some words, and I like playing showdown, or is it like shootout at the OK Corral? Is that how you say it? The OK Corral? I can't remember. Basically, so you've got two students and they are kind of like back to back, and they have to kind of walk away on the count of three, like 1, 2, 3, turn around, spin around with these cards, and student 1 has to say student 2's word and student 2 has to say student 1's word. You lose a point for not turning quickly enough. It's like 1, 2, 3, turn, and you've got to say the word on the card. So they're quite big so that you can see from a little distance away. That's a fun game to play. I think one of the websites I gave you earlier has a link to that particular game that you can play. So I did a few of these as well, and you can use them in a variety of ways. Okay, so here's another folder, and in this folder I've got little phonemic chart bookmarks, and again you can create these and hand them out to your students, and they can use them in a variety of ways. They can use them as reference points, they can use them to to basically put on the board when they're doing a board activity, kind of next to them, as you know, as a kind of reference point as well. You know, they can just keep them as bookmarks, yeah, so they're just little fun things to have. You can quickly pop that into your bag and pull it out when you're doing a phonemic activity, or, you know, I always get my students to always download the apps onto their phone so that they can actually use the apps in class when doing pair or group work or whatever it is. So it's always good to have the chart in front of you. You may not be able to see the chart in the classroom when it's on the wall, so it's always nice to have one on your desk as well. So if you don't want to use your phone, your mobile phone, you don't want to use an app, you can quickly just take this out and use it. So it's always nice to have something like this. And yeah, I like having this with me. It basically tells me, you know, the activities I can quickly do as a filler or cool or warm if I need an extra 5-minute activity or something like this. I have these prepared. So I know, for example, you know, I can teach a section of the chart and I can, you know, quickly put up on the board words, squares. You know, this was basically done by Mark Hancock. I can quickly have a dictation or something like this based on the phonemes I want my students to practice. So it's always good to have something like this on hand. So yeah, I've got some notes at the back. So get them up and moving with the action, the Jollyphonics action sounds, do a phoneme run, you know, place the different phoneme flashcards around the classroom, say the sound and get students to kind of run and grab the sound that they hear. I can do the dictation spelling bee with, I can do the dictation or spelling bee, the one that's here. And I can also do the word squares as well. Yeah, I can do a trace the phoneme game. So, you know, one student can stand, 2 students can stand, and one can trace the phoneme on their back, and they've got to recognize the phoneme that's being traced, you know. So, yeah, it's nice having these. So I don't have to quickly think, oh, what do I need to do for this quick filler or this quick brain break activity I want them to do? You know, your class is going, you know, at first maybe it was going well, and then later it kind of lost momentum and you want to kind of have like a pick-me-up. What quick game can I play to ensure that my students are now kind of energized and motivated? So it's good to have these on hand. So this one has, let me see, yeah, it has flashcard reveal, beanbag toss, a quick countdown game, you know, different things. This one has a basketball flashcard game, another spelling bee, a sound shopping game, which I got from the EF file poster. I can use my phoneme spinners. I'll show you examples of those next. This one has roller sound, phoneme showdown. You know, I was telling you about the phoneme showdown earlier. Mark Hancock's vowels before crosswords, more dictation exercises, etc. So yeah, that's a good idea. Just have some of your favorite phoneme or pronunciation activities, you know, basically at hand. Okay, right. Yeah, so that's something I like to do. Right, oh, remember I talked about teachthis.com. Right, so there was a game called Tiddlywinks or Frog Jump, and I liked playing that in class. So I also photocopied some of my favorite games from that website. Right, basically this is some of the games I got from ESL Kids, some of the flashcard games. So I basically, you know, play these games with my students using my phoneme flashcards. So some of the favorites, I just photocopied them and kept them in my file. These worksheets I got from the Trinity College website, but I can no longer find the actual worksheets on the website. I think I was maybe teaching one of the ISC levels, and this was something I could print off, but I don't remember where I actually got it. But you can do something like this as well. So you can create a document with the phonemes, and your students have to think of example words that go with the phoneme. So basically you've got the phoneme, a given example word, and they have to think of their own example word. And this is something that they can stick into their books. So yeah, you can do that for the monophthongs, the diphthongs, and the consonants as well. I've got some Jollyphonic stuff to kind of remind me of the actions that can accompany the phonemes in the phonemic chart. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, that's all Jollyphonic stuff there. I need to add those to my Jollyphonics folder. So now I've basically got the phoneme flashcards, and I've divided them into the different parts. So here you've got the monophthongs, different flashcards for the monophthongs. I've got big ones and small ones for my students to use. These ones were from Phonetics Focus. I don't think they are available anymore. These were from, I think, the British website, the British Council website, and these were from English File. I basically just photocopied parts of the poster and decided to use them. So I got the flashcards essentially from the same sources as I just mentioned. So the British Council website, the EF File website, and Phonetics Focus. But as I said, I don't think the Phonetics Focus one is still available. So these are the monophthongs, flashcards for the monophthongs, flashcards for, yeah, monophthongs again, the diphthongs. So again, I like to have them in different sizes depending on the activity I'm doing. So here you've got, yeah, some monophthongs, yeah. Sorry, some diphthongs. Yeah, okay. So I can use them in a variety of activities. Okay, so more diphthongs. Oh, I got these, but I don't remember. Yeah, I have these, but I don't remember where I got them from. I think, again, they were taken from a poster. I might have got the poster from a teaching conference I had attended, but yeah, I had forgotten to write down the name of the company that had produced them, well, that had made the poster, but you know, I have them. I just don't remember where I got them from, but again, beautifully illustrated. The consonants, and these are word squares. I got the idea from Mark Hancock, and then I decided to make my own. So I made my own word squares. So basically my students would have to, I would tell them a phoneme, okay, and they would have to write the same phoneme here, 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 and here, and then create words. So for example, the phoneme that makes the A sound, they would have to put it here, 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 and here. And then they would have to make words like rain, nail, tail, you know, things like that. So just a great activity that they can do individually or in pairs or groups, you know. So if you've got some fast finishers, you can give them an activity like this to do, you know, just give them the phonemic chart and tell them, look, choose, you know, 2 consonants, 2 vowels, something like that. Create your word squares. More consonant flashcards. Oh, these are my spinners. I love using spinners. These are the monophthong ones, you know, so they would have to spin it, choose a vowel, and maybe create a word. I've got loads of spinners. This one is great as well. You put it on a flat surface and then you just spin and create your words. Yeah, well, this is not exactly flat, but you know what I mean. Let me move this aside a little bit and let's see if we can spin that. Yay. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you now have to create a word with the O sound or something like that. You know, so yeah, just spin, spin again, spin, maybe spin a bit faster. Okay, well, you get the gist. And you can do this in pairs as well. You know, so one person can, you know, spin the diphthongs and ask their partner to give example words, and then their partner can spin the monophthongs and ask their partner to give example words, things like that. I love spinners. I liked creating them. I got the actual spinning thing from Amazon and I just decided to make loads of them. Right, so these games were taken from one of Mark Hancock's books. So again, he's really good at creating games for the phonemic chart. And so here he has created vowels before R, a vowels before R crossword. Okay, so you've got the words here. Okay, and then you've got to basically write them here, but phonetically. So nice. Like for example, the word here is beers, and so you've got to write it here, beers. These are always fun. And you can, as I said, give them to fast finishers to do. They can work in pairs to figure all of this out. This one is a short vowel crossword. This one is a long vowel crossword. Yeah, so you can see this one here. Okay, so you've got an example. Here you've got bike, and then you've got to create, write the word bike here. Yeah. So again, fun. And you can make your own, you know, but I just laminated those. Here I've got roller sound, so you can use dice, massive dice in the classroom to play this, or give them to pairs to play and things like that as well. So again, at the top you write the phonemes you want your students to practice, and then if they roll a die and they get number 5, and that's like ow, the phoneme ow, for example, they've got to write example words in each of the squares. So that's it, you know, just a quick look at some of my pronunciation files. So you can definitely use these files in your face-to-face classes. You can hold them up if you've got a digital class or something like that as well. And you can also use the online flashcards and games to, you know, engage your students. Right, that's it for my personal files. Bye!